Hi everyone, welcome. I'm really excited today to share with you this conversation between me and Gaiea, an amazing Sanskrit sound artist that I had the privilege to just bump into and sing together and share our love to sound that is healing that come from the more Indian yogic tradition. So, hi Gaiea.
Hello.
So Gaiea will be with us in Waterperry retreat in April that we're hoping to do every year and to grow it into kind of a bigger event where we go through the process of life, death, rebirth. And Gaiea will conclude that process when we're coming in back into rebirth. We're going to meet in the amphitheater under the moonlight and call your names and welcome you back and use the sound as a way to rejuvenate the body, the mind, and the spirit. So just wanted kind of a very unofficial conversation about sound and how what can you share with us about it and how we can elevate in our well-being in body and mind and spirit.
Well, what I've learned so far is that in order to connect with the sound that comes through this body, this particular instrument, because every single body is an instrument. So when people say to you, do you play a musical instrument? And you might answer no, because maybe you learned at school, but then you gave up, or maybe you never touched a musical instrument and you feel far removed from music and you feel musicians and artists are another species. Yes, you could call creative people a certain type of people, but in essence, we are all musicians because this body itself is an instrument. And unless this body is being played to its full capacity, and one of the primary ways of playing it is through sound. Obviously, movement is another way to play with this body, but even before movement, before that comes the sound. The sound is the initiation, so to speak, into life itself. So every single one of us is a musician, is an artist, because we have a body that is capable of sound. And this body vibrates with sound. When you hear someone speak, the very cells of the body receive that sound vibration, and the body is influenced by the sound of that voice. There are people who experience illness who say that when certain people speak, they can actually feel it affecting their tumor. So if that's not evidence for how much sound affects our very physical body on a cellular level, then what is? So that being said, we can obviously be careful about the environment that we're in and the sounds that we listen to, but sometimes that's very difficult because there's sounds coming at us all around all the time and frequencies coming at us. So what is a way to tune this body and this frequency to, if you like, make it stronger, brighter, more energized, more capable, more vigorous and healthy and well, so that this body that we inhabit can begin to fulfill its full potential in the world, in whatever that may be. And we need to then sound this body, sound from within this body. But in order for that to be possible, well, actually, we can't say in order for it to be possible. What we could say is when we begin to use this body for sounding, then gradually the inhibitions will fall away, like doubts will fall away, because it's impossible to sound with doubt. The doubt has to disappear. It's impossible to sound with shyness and inhibition, because these are all learnt things that we've learnt in our society, to close off, to go smaller and smaller, to become quieter and quieter and let the sound of the world overpower us. But we have this great power, almost like a lion, and it's not just in the Leo star signs or in those, but it's in all of us to roar our sound. And we have to begin somewhere. So even if it's the smallest step of opening the mouth and sounding and to begin to experience that in a group begins to vibrate within the body, begins to expand and expand and frees you up. and gradually the tensions in the body will start to release. And these could be tensions we've been holding on to for since before memory kicked in, because of traumas that we've taken on throughout our life. And I would say that sound is greatly, greatly underestimated in the healing world. I don't mean by gong practitioners, by yogis. I don't mean it like that, but I mean the very sound that we make ourselves is greatly underestimated in its power to heal. And the first step of healing would be to connect to your own sound and to not have judgments about the sound of your voice, because that's years and years of conditioning. The voice can always sound, and even if the sound is timid, we can take it on a journey of healing, if you like, of courage, of uncovering, so that eventually you will feel strong in your sound. And it has to start somewhere, so hopefully on this weekend we can start.
Yeah, I like the idea that you were talking about having the courage, because spiritual practice, you need a lot of courage, because sitting with yourself and all the parts of you that is unhealed and unwanted within us, there will be the meeting there. So courage is necessary. And do you think that sound can help us to go through that discomfort? It can be a way, because that's what we need when we go through trauma. We need support. And do you feel that sound can help us, and how would you recommend?
So there are many sound practitioners out there, and I've come across recently some amazing people who, I can't remember the name of it, but they do a certain high pitch sounding, and the frequency can tune into the frequency of the person they're healing. Right. So there are many practices that use sound, but from personal experience, I would say the way is to daily use your voice for sound. I don't mean speech, because we're speaking every day, but it has to come daily. And I guess it's just like you would meditate daily, if that's for you, or you'd go for a walk daily sound for at least 5 minutes. And it's the accumulation, if you like. Gradually things will begin to fall away that you might not have even realized needed to fall away, and the sound itself will begin to clear the mind, will begin to do its work. But it has to be daily, like often we'd say with anything, really.
Spiritual hygiene.
Yeah.
And do you mind if we conclude this interview or this chat with a bit of a practice that we can maybe to suggest that to practice at home? When to start?
Sure. Well, because when we were discussing earlier, we were talking, you mentioned the Indian raga system and that's capacity for healing, and you also mentioned the music of the spheres. So in the Indian raga system, which obviously links with the Western system of music, because it gave life to it, if you like. The first note is sa, just like in the Western system, the first note is do. And that first note sa, we'll use the Indian raga naming system for now. That first note sa represents home, represents Muladhara chakra. It connects with stability. So if we might all have different sas, it's natural, because we're all have our different personalities and vibe. But for now, we'll choose a sa, which is hopefully okay for both man and woman, which would be maybe around C, B pitch in Western notation, which is around sa. So if we pick that as our pitch. So at the moment, we're not sounding we're sounding sa. And a great daily practice to start with, just to introduce sounding. Interesting that the very word sound begins with sa. And the sa is it's a very healing sound. Anyway, so we're just going to sound sa, and I'll sound it, and you, if you're listening to this video, sound along with me. And I'll sound it 3 times. This is the simplest practice. Okay. You can close your eyes if you like. Okay, so we'll sound it sa 3 times, the simplest of practices. And if your note wobbles, just keep the attention and bring it back to pitch. if you feel you can't sing to pitch, it doesn't matter, just sound what you can. So it's sa is our chosen pitch. Sa. Sa. Sa.
Thank you so much, Gaia. I'm beyond excited to have you on the retreat with us. Thank you so much for taking the time to share with us, and I'm looking forward to many more conversations with you. And we're hoping to see you, everyone, on April. It's Easter weekend, so April 15th.
Easter weekend, yeah.
The 18th and 15th, we start on a full moon, and we're still going to have a lot of moonlight for the end of the initiation on the Sunday in the amphitheater with Gaia. Thank you so much, Gaia. And
thank you, Rena.
thank you, everyone.